is good too.
Boom, guys, we're live. We're live. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, guys. Like every single Tuesday, you guys already know we go live and we talk about all things Airbnb, Airbnb gems. So, guys, if you're new into this channel, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If we never met before, my name is Mamadou Diallo, and I am a full-time real estate investor. I've done hundreds and hundreds of transactions, all the way from fix and flips, rentals, and Airbnbs, which I love, fell in love with Airbnbs, and I am with the beautiful Marta. I always mispronounce her name, but she's a badass, STR investor. That's her expertise, and I'm gonna let her introduce herself. Marta, let's introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you, Mamadou. At some point, you get it right. I think you will get my name at some point. Maybe three
Okay.
more podcasts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am, first of all, a mom. I would say that's my number one job in this world. But I'm also a real estate investor, and I love all kinds of investing. So I do multifamily, single family, but I'm actually getting into business buying creatively. So that's exciting. But my biggest passion is really short-term rentals, just because that is my biggest expertise. I am trained in hospitality and hotel management. That's my college degree. And I've also been traveling and staying in short-term rentals before Airbnb owners were even maybe born. I don't know. I don't know how long ago and how old these guys are, but I've been going on trips with family since I was about 3 and staying in people's homes or renting a room. So I've had so many years of experience seeing how the market changes and what guests are expecting out of Airbnb hosts, and like how the market is different now than it used to be. Hi, Jody. Hi, Rory. So my expertise is in making things better. I love Airbnb space, and I love our conversations with Mamadou and Hong, because we try to improve the existing products and make and show people how you can make it a little bit better and capitalize on bigger gains. Because obviously, if you have a nicer product, better customer service, you're going to be able to ask for more money per night, right? So that's what we're all about. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat, and yeah, we can get started.
Boom, guys, and we have Mr. Hung in the building. He just joined. Hung, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, my name is Hung, and I am from Orlando, Florida, originally from Vietnam. And for this is actually my anniversary month. I am 2 years into real estate as of this month, and so I prior to what I've been doing, I've been working for my family in their salon for the last 10 years, for the last decade, in kind of like the hospitality space. And I went from that to accidentally falling into the short-term rental space, and now have over 15 units within the last 2 years under management. And so, yeah, just been having a really good time.
Boom, 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 guys. So there you have it. So, guys, again, every single Tuesday we go live 2 p.m. EST, and we talk about all things Airbnb. And today specifically, we're going to do what is called Airbnb auditing, listing auditing, right, Marta? And we're actually going to rip apart one of my first Airbnbs that we've made all the mistakes you can think of on that Airbnb. Why? Because we didn't know any better. We didn't have the experience that we have now. Now we know how important it is to design and furnish the right way, have the right management in place. And so the property is being underperforming due to all those things. So Marta is going to do a screen share. We're going to go over it. Her and Hung and me, we're going to rip it apart, and this will be fun. So you guys will learn how, which mistakes you need to avoid when you get into it. So let's get right into it, guys. Let's see,
Well,
Marta.
yes,
Yeah,
I'm
go
going
ahead.
to share the screen. But before we do that, I also just wanted to commend you for doing it, because it's very challenging to show your product and what you've come up with, your baby, and let somebody rip it into shreds, right? So I'm going to try to be very gentle, yet at the same time, I was thinking about it. I'm like, wow, he's super brave. Like, I don't know if I would put my Airbnb that's underperforming for everybody to see, but it's so important because we can learn from it, right? And when I look at my products that I put, I don't know, 5 years ago, I didn't know what I know. I didn't know a year ago what I know today. So we keep growing and changing every year and learning new skills. So I rip apart my Airbnbs, and sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? So I appreciate you sharing and
All
being
right.
vulnerable and open.
Yeah.
Um, And if it gets too much and I'm too hardcore, just tell me to stop, okay?
No, I want you to be hardcore. So here's the deal, guys. So the reason we do this is because number one, people want to see the nitty gritty. People don't just want to hear about your wins; they want to hear about your losses too. And number two is to show you guys that we actually do this business. We don't just sit here and talk about it. We actually have these properties. We own it. And so that's why we do it. It's the same thing when I'm talking about wholesaling. I'll give you the addresses that we closed on. If I'm talking about a rental, I'll give you the address, right? So that's the reason we're doing it, guys. I love it. I have thick skin. I'm actually looking forward into it because I know people are going to get value from it. So don't worry about it. Go all in. Like I want you to go 200%.
Okay, so before I go into it, I just had a couple of questions because I want to know a couple of things. Number one, did you do a setup yourself or did you have anybody helping you? Number two, did you write descriptions yourself or did you hire anybody to write it for you? Are you just so kind of I know who I'm addressing when I say like, hey, this and this has to change or it's maybe not up to par. Tell me a little bit of the story of this Airbnb.
This is fun. So guys, this Airbnb, so Martha, we found obviously this is a subject to property, guys. This is not an Airbnb arbitrage. We actually own deed and title. We bought it from a seller that was moving, he was buying a new house. I think it was a new build at the time, and we took over his VA loan. So he left the mortgage on his name, then we bought it and transferred deed and title, gave him a little bit of cash on that. I'm not gonna go into all of that. But when we bought it, I have my job in this, my partnership, so I have partners on this property. My thing was to bring the funds. Basically, I'm the one who went and raised the funds, and then I had the experience in terms of the acquisition, so I kind of like advise a little bit on it. But as far as like management, putting captions, all that fun stuff, I left it to my JV partners to do all of that. So I haven't done anything. But here's the deal: they were new too in the Airbnb space.
Yeah,
they didn't know much better. Like his my partner on this deal, his name is Mr. Carter. He's part of Sub 2 as well. And his girlfriend, I'm not even going to try to pronounce her name because I always mispronounce it. But you know, she's the one that really like figure out how to go buy the furniture, put everything. So for somebody that didn't know anything, she did great because she saved us a lot of. She did okay. Yeah, she saved us money at the time we thought, but we actually lost money because we were anticipating this property to do around like 75, 80 grand a year. But because of the under design and the under, you know, obviously furnishing, it actually did close to the 50, 60 grand. So now we're going back, replacing that private lender, and then redesigning and refurnishing it and doing it the right way because now we know what we're doing because I'm working with great people like Mr. Hung and Martha. So now I know what the product is supposed to look like. So we're going to go and make this bad boy look good. So I didn't do all of that.
Okay, perfect. So, and I love, you know, the fact that you took action because some action is better than no action. So even though you guys didn't know anything, you took action and you made some money and now we can improve it and make you more money. But, you know, I just didn't want to be, okay, we'll go through it. Let me just show you because it's not only, I don't only look at photos. I look at captions. I look at how it's presented and I look at your competition. So I checked out your competition in that area to kind of see who you can compare yourself with. So let's just present the product and then I can give you some feedback here.
Let's do it, guys. I hope you guys are ready.
Do it. Everybody's excited to see Mamadou's Airbnb. Is Hong a part of this as well, or is it just your Airbnb?
No, Hong is actually part of the management now, but he came into the picture like what, 2 months ago.
Yeah, maybe 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So guys, if you have any questions, any comments, be sure to put it in the comments. We'll actually address it. Okay.
Okay, so let's start with this. This is your number one picture. When you sent it to me, this was your cover photo, right? This kitchen. And I don't know why it's not pulling up. The second I click on it, it goes away. But I think that's your number one photo. That's what I saw. I don't know if that's what you have it as a thumbnail, like as a main photo. But if that is the case, I would definitely change it because we want to pick out the most attractive photo out of all of the photos you have. And looking at all your photos, like I think, and Hung, you can give your perspective on it, but I think your most attractive right now is this one because it shows it's a big and beautiful home.
Trust me, I've gave my thoughts.
Oh, okay. Well, now we're gonna double whammy you, and you're gonna make those changes. But anyway, so this is a beautiful photo. I don't know yet what I'm looking into. Like me personally, okay, I'm gonna give you feedback also from a perspective of travel. I travel all the time, so I look at these things daily. I would never even probably go past this picture of the kitchen because it's like, it's not super inviting. It's just a kitchen. I'm not that excited about it, But if I saw the house, I would be like, oh, let me see what's inside. And once I'm in, I may scroll through a couple pictures. That's why your top 2 or 3 photos need to be the best ones of the bunch. Let people kind of fall in love with it quickly. And then they will probably maybe ignore some of the not so great pictures. But if you're already presenting product that is like average, you may not capture the attention. Now, I would say that your competition is not super stiff in that city. So what is it? Newport? What is it? Newport
News.
Newport News, Virginia. So I don't know who your specific like avatar is and your guest type, but I looked at all of the properties that are 5 bedrooms similar to yours, and nobody is really standing out a lot except for one. So I want to kind of later on, once we go through it, I'll show you his Airbnb, and then we can kind of compare how you can be better than him, because I know you can be better than him 100%. And he's charging more per night too, and he has pretty much very similar product. So let's start with picture number 1. Or actually, let's start with, for some reason, when I click on it, it goes back to this photo, but I don't know why. Okay, so living room. I was very confused when I saw this because you have 2 or 3 living rooms, which is amazing, but they all look the exact same. So I thought I'm looking at the same picture, and I had to go and read the description to be like, okay, that's another living room. Oh my gosh, you guys have so many spaces in this house. It's amazing. But because the decor is identical, the only difference is maybe a couple pictures on the wall. You didn't really differentiate these rooms and make them stand out. So one could be a game room. One could be a cool, like, depending who your customer is. I don't know if it's bachelorette or, whatever. You can make a theme in each of these rooms, and then they're going to stand out, and you can definitely not confuse them, right?
100%.
But let's start picking some things apart here, design-wise. I love it. I just love it because, it's good. It has everything it needs, right? It has a couch, it has some pictures, it has a plant, but it's not a designed space. It's very random. So first thing that I would pick is choose a color scheme and know your location. I think you guys are near the beach, right? Like somewhere in that town, there is a beach.
Yeah, there is an amusement park too.
Okay, so I would definitely pick a theme that's a little bit lighter and brighter colored. Like, for example, the blanket with horses makes me feel like I'm in a country or, mountains, or I don't know, somewhere where the horses would live. They probably don't necessarily live near the beach. So it doesn't go with the theme. Pick a theme and kind of go with it. I would say the furniture is too small for the space. Like you're hosting up to 13 people at a time. So what if like 8 of them want to go hang out in this space? There's not enough room. That's maybe room for 2 or 3 maybe, right? But it's not maximizing the space. I don't know why the couch is floating like away from the wall. It's kind of away from everything. You kind of want to tuck it in a little bit. Yeah. And I would definitely pick a bigger piece, L-shaped, or, you can even maybe use something like that and add a couple armchairs or like decorative chairs. Right. And my biggest thing is like, I don't really use dark furniture. Like if I use dark, it would be like, blue, bright blue or bright green or some color. But the dark ones just look sad to me. They just look, they're not super inviting, number 1. And number 2, they hide dirt. And I know that they hide dirt. So I'm like, it's probably dirty. That's what I think. Not everybody would think that, but that's my perception of dark furniture. So if you want it darker because you don't want to show like, every little stain, then pick like, I think Tom Swan is really good at picking always blue couches. That's all he goes with. Blue couches. And they stand out and they look good. Now, let's talk about wall decor because that was quite interesting to me. It's better than nothing, but I noticed the theme in this Airbnb is bunch of little pictures and little lamps and little things everywhere. It's always better to get one big picture or art piece or mirror than a bunch of little ones. Those little ones are distracting. And like when I look at this photo, I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at because there's so many things where my eye goes. I'm like, the plant is hanging and there's a picture here and there's something on this wall and that wall. So what I would suggest for this space is bigger couch, lighter color. If you can't right now, if you don't have it in the budget to replace, I would maybe put a slip cover, like a higher quality, and like pillows that are not brown or dark, because again, they hide dirt, and I am afraid to touch a dark brown pillow because I don't know what's hiding underneath it.
This is where, guys, sometimes you think you're saving money, but you're actually losing money, because we actually, just so you guys have a context, we didn't hire a professional designer or professional, like nothing. They just figured it out themselves. She kind of knew a little bit. Okay, I can go buy here, looking at an Airbnb, but she don't have the experience. Neither did we. But if we knew at the time, actually this can hurt your cash flow, and so you're not really saving money. On the long term, you're kind of losing money. So this is really good. So don't be cheap on. What we should have done is raise more money so we can afford hiring a professional designer and somebody to professionally design it and furnish it. But again,
Yeah. And you know what? My biggest thing is, because I work with a lot of high-end designers for like my personal home or some Airbnbs. I've had some help when I simply don't have time to do it myself. And I notice that they always buy very expensive pieces. And I'm not about expensive always. I'm about design. So you can copy a design and be a copycat and go pick out like a nice Airbnb, like somewhere maybe in a different city, so you don't copy exactly and you have like exactly two the same Airbnbs, but go to another town, go somewhere else, look at Airbnbs for that particular town and copy their design. Just go on Wayfair, go on, whatever you have, local store like Ashley Furniture or even Amazon. And then find something very similar. It doesn't have to be expensive. There are cheaper version of expensive furniture. It's all about the design. You can tell that this was not designed professionally, but if you pick a designer, she will probably overcharge. Depends. Like we offer a service, all of us, three of us, where we can work with somebody's budget, right? But when you pick a designer, sometimes they just say, "Oh, it's going to be 80,000 to furnish this home." Probably more. This house is big. You probably would spend 80 to 100.
Yeah, I think honestly, with us, the way we do things, and Hung here can talk about it. This is a 5 bedroom. I think we're gonna spend close to maybe 40 grand to do it the right way. And correct me if I'm wrong, Hung, but maybe we can even maybe we can even take all the old furniture and all that fun stuff, resell it online,
Yeah,
make a few bucks out of that, and then reinvest it, right? But
yeah.
yeah, because it feels like a lot of things in here gotta go, and then literally put new stuff. Even the pictures was taken with a phone, I think. I don't. Yeah, this definitely wasn't
It's
professional.
not professional. Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
yeah,
you know
Hung,
what, Mamadou?
are we gonna spend more than 40 grand? You think on this?
Probably for the space that we're looking at, and then also you got to think about potentially, if you really want to make it like special, potentially expanding that backyard patio and a kind of like a outdoors lounge area. Then that would be really, really cool. And plus, it would attract more people in the wintertime as well.
Yeah,
because
sure.
it's a space that people can hang around and like just create really cool moments when they're there.
Yeah, for sure. And as far as like reselling the furniture, there's always people that are coming up new on the market trying to do their own Airbnbs. They're gonna love your stuff. They'll be like, "Yes, brown couches, let's get it. It's cheap. Let's do it." So do it. And other people will purchase for their personal home. But anyway, I don't think you have to probably sell every single item. I'm all about like repurposing. I always try to look for how can I repurpose something. Certain items will be just fine. And certain ones you just have to dress up, maybe buy like better. Well, when we get to the bedroom, I'll kind of give feedback, but try to repurpose. You don't want to buy everything from scratch,
All right, let's look at the other ones then.
Okay. So with this one, just replace bigger picture, take away all the little things, and probably a bigger coffee table and a bigger couch. And I always put rugs. Rugs make it feel homey. They add really nice piece, like decor piece, and you can match it with like, let's say your art piece, right? So everything flows together. Then I always put decorative pillows and a blankie. I'm a big like cozy type of person, so I always have baskets with blankets. So when it's cold, people can like cozy up and read a book or whatever. All right. So this one, it's not bad, but it's once again, it doesn't feel like finished to me necessarily. To me, the rug is missing here. It just looks random, and there is the coffee table in the middle of the room. It's not near any couches unless this picture is taken at a wide angle, and maybe they are close, but it doesn't seem like it. So I would definitely have a coffee table where somebody can access, put their coffee next to it. or have
Right.
like you have here little side tables where people can put coffee here instead of on your floor and ruin your floor. Always
Yeah.
think of like, how would you live in that space if you were the guest? I always put myself in guest shoes. Where can they plug in my phone? Where can I put my phone? Where can I put my coffee cup? Oh, you don't have anywhere to put, let me put it on the floor then. I'm sorry if I make a stain, but you didn't you didn't provide me what I needed.
Yeah.
So with these couches, once again, this is a beautiful bright space. If you guys designed it in like lighter colored, which I'm sure Hong already has like really good design in mind, like this place would pop. You would be the best one in that market, 100%. Nobody else, everybody has the same design as you guys right now. It looks very similar. Nothing stands out. So I would definitely change up to a brighter, lighter color furniture or something bright, and have matching pillows. I also like to put curtains in my Airbnbs just because they add for very little money. It's so cheap. You can get them for 20 bucks at Walmart, but they'll add that extra touch and it makes it look more homey, and you can play color wise with your design. So it can
Yeah.
kind of just look more designed and look like it's professionally designed, even though it's like cheap curtains. Make sure you don't install them right on the window, but on the side of the window, because they're for decor more than they are just to cover the light. You always want to have as much light as possible. Okay,
Right.
so this living room would be good. I would just if you can't replace the couches, I would just probably put slip covers maybe. If not, just get brighter colored pillows, because these pillows are just kind of random. Some of them are brown, some of them are yellow. I don't know.
Yeah. And guys, if you suck in taste like me, like never ask me to decor a house. Just hire a professional. Like all this she's talking about right now, just so you know, I will never sit down and try to figure it out because I it's not my thing, right? But if I hire a professional, it's their job to go in and think about all of these and come up with a budget, right? Like Marta said, we actually, if you ever come to me, Hung and Marta, will actually do it with a budget that you have, so you can work with the budget that you have. But in the beginning, if you start and you don't know how to raise the money for whatever reason, and you cannot afford to hire a professional, then you can always relate to this type of videos and just take the advice and run with it. um
Okay, let's
let's
go to you want to go to the next one?
you wouldn't have any accent wall at all in this? No, there's no space for it, right? I know
You
Hung go.
could. You can always do an accent wall, but you have to first pick your colors and know what you're going for. What is your theme and what is the accent that you're trying to do? Like if your furniture is super bright, you don't want to do another accent wall probably because it's already overwhelming. So that's why you need a designer eye to see, because there's all patterns to everything, and you need to, like, your eye has to be resting on something. When you have a bunch of little colors here and there and TV on with Netflix, it's good because obviously you're showing you have Netflix, but I usually like to put on my TVs maybe a theme of what's close to me. If we're in Disneyland, I would put that. If we're by the beach, I'll put like, a beach on the TV, on the screen, just so people kind of remember, oh yeah, I'm going there to be on the beach. That's cool. Accent walls are always good, but you just have to know like what will be your colors and your design, and then play that accent wall on that. Okay.
Cool.
So let's go to the next one. This one is actually pretty good. It's not that bad. I would definitely remove like these little pieces here from the wall. I don't know if you can see my mouse as I'm pointing, but on the right-hand side of the TV and left, there is a bunch of little things and you don't need them. Like the little thing here by the window, I don't know what that is, but you don't need that. And
Yeah, I
then
cannot tell neither.
what does it say on this little piece of paper? I can't read it. Do you know what that says?
On the wall.
Yeah,
So
is that a wall?
what does it say, Hung?
Oh no, I was just doing a little commentating because I just started a Instagram live as well, just to let you know what's going on and what we're talking about. Of like,
Let's go.
like that we're auditing some Airbnbs at the moment, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, I've never seen this property physically, nor I think I will. Like I've never seen the property, so I don't even know.
But this is good that I caught it, because whatever that is, let's say that's Wi-Fi or whatnot. I don't know what you guys posted here. Maybe don't take your shoes off, or I don't know what that is. Welcome. I can't tell what that is, but whatever that is, obviously it's important that the guests see it. So you're like, let me just put it on the wall, you know? But I think it makes it look less professional once again. What I do with all my instructions for my guests, like I have a book, like a welcome book, and I'll put it on the coffee table or in the kitchen. And I post Wi-Fi information right in the kitchen, wherever your entrance is, wherever you go first. Are you still there, Mamadou?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't see you for a second. Um, first thing people want to see when they come in is, what is the Wi-Fi? What do you guys ask for? I always ask, and all my family says, where's Wi-Fi? Where's Wi-Fi? So they want to see Wi-Fi, but not maybe glued to the wall. They definitely want to have it like in the kitchen or wherever they first come in. Give them Wi-Fi information right away. I wouldn't tape anything to the wall. It just looks, like a dorm room more style. Okay.
Does a designer, like, let's say somebody come to us right now and they want to repurpose and redesign this, like,
Yeah.
does a designer need to go there physically? Not necessarily, right? I
No.
mean, in order to like come up with a new concept and all that fun stuff.
No, not at all. Like, you just have to have measurements. The biggest thing for a designer is they need measurements, because if they find you an amazing couch or bed or whatever and it doesn't fit the space, then what do you do with that when it's delivered? So they have to see the space. They have to have angles from every angle. And I think you have a service where you send people and they just like record. What is that service?
Yeah. How do you call it again? So, if somebody wanna send the measurements and all that fun stuff, is a Metaport?
Yeah, it's a Matterport, where they come in and then they just put a camera in every room, and it measures. It will give you like a 360 of that room, but then it also through that software you can also measure like the length of where each walls and everything. It's really cool. It actually was shared with me by Noah Hoffman, which is a good friend of all of ours.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's an amazing service. Because I remember I have like a designer certification, and when I was practicing, that was the biggest thing they were talking about, is the measurements. You cannot design a space without measurements, specific measurements. So yes, you can have a remote designer and design a place for you, but then you just have to have somebody with a really good eye to know where to place the furniture if you don't have a local designer. And especially with pictures. I mean, I made a mistake before in one of my Airbnbs when I left my handyman for 5 minutes to go take a call, and I come back and the pictures are at my knees, and I'm like, what are we doing here? Or then it would be so high, almost touching the ceiling. I'm like, these guys don't know. Their job is not to design. Their job is to put it on the wall.
Right.
So somebody has to be there to guide them, right? So that's why designer or somebody with like a sense of where to put stuff needs to be present during the setup.
Guys, that's so important with Airbnb, because honestly, like, if you think about the type of customer you attract when it comes to Airbnb, oftentimes if they're willing to pay that high of an amount on a nightly rate, if an Airbnb is well furnished, on average, like this one right now, I even forgot how much we charge on a nightly rate.
Like 350 or something. You have like 300.
Yeah, it's
there
like
you go. So you could actually charge way more.
Yeah, it's like 300 and something. But once you go into the summer, I think you can go as high as like probably $500 or $600 a night on average. But honestly, I think like one thing that at the beginning, and I had the same thing that I had to overcome as well, was like, why do you need rugs? Like, I don't see that, what's the reason with it? It only gives an opportunity to make it dirty. And my designers kept like telling me that, Hung, we need rugs. We need rugs to tie things together. We need rugs in the living room. We need rugs in the bedrooms and everything. And I was totally against it, but I trust that I don't know what I don't know, so I just let them did whatever they did. And honestly, it makes such a huge difference when you throw in a rug to a space, because it just ties that space together. It, like, even if you have one long hallway, which I have at one of my property, where it's the entrance on one side, and then on the other side it's like the living room, and then in the middle is where we put the dining area, and in the space we have a rug, and it just ties the space in together instead of this one long hallway. And so it knows what, it helps you define what space each area is, which is like one of the things that we've talked about on this property as well, is that it lacks of rugs to kind of tie in that space and to tie in sometimes even if your colors are all out of whack, but if you can get a rug that has a little hint of each of those colors in there, it will like help it it will become kind of like the glue that holds that room together. If you know what I mean.
100%. And that's the thing is like when you have somebody who's not experienced and they're just in it for like, I just want to make the most money and decorate it for the least amount, you have not a finished product. Now you have to decide who your customer is, because if your customer is a college student, he couldn't care less about the rug. He really doesn't care, right? But if you're going after more of a higher end customer who, let's say, when I travel, like I have rugs in my home, so I want to go to a place that has a rug because that's what I'm used to. But when I was in college, maybe I didn't care so much about that stuff. So who is your avatar? Who is your customer? And you design the product based on that person. And if you don't know because you are a college student and you haven't been yet that high level customer or whatever, then you have to have a designer helping you and pushing you and trust them, because they know, like they can tell what pulls together, like what a good design is and how to pull elements together. I know that it doesn't make sense to a lot of people and they're like, well, it's just a waste of money, but it's not,
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next.
Let's go to the next one. So this is that other there's two more living rooms. This one, once again, is like another space. I'm so confused because they look the same. They're in like the same direction. So I don't know how many living rooms you guys have. It looks like 4, including like the main living room. But it's amazing. Once again, what I would do is there's a horse picture. So I guess there is a theme in this house of a horse, not a picture, but a blanket. But I'm like, this theme doesn't really connect with anything because we're not on the farm or anywhere, right? So I would take that away. It doesn't add decorative feel or anything. It's dark. Dark on dark is not good. And then instead of these 4 little photos, and to me, photography or wall decor needs to add a pop of something. Either calm me down or give me like bright, like really cool, or maybe I'm on the beach and I want to see some beachy vibes on the picture. This is, sometimes you can do abstracts. Abstracts are great too, but not 4 of them. I would make 1 large one or 2 medium-sized pieces and not a bunch of them. The hanging plants, I think I just left an audit for somebody, a friend of mine who just put together his Airbnb, and there's so many artificial, faux, fake plants all over the house. And I'm like, there is a time and place for fake, right? But first of all, it cannot be a grandma style fake plants. They cannot be super outdated. Like something like that is from, I remember my grandma had when I was growing up, this type of leaf hanging from everywhere. It's not current or modern. Number 1, it will date your place. And number 2, pick 1 for the space maybe. I see like, look, you have 1 here on the left. There's another one in the corner. Those could be lamps instead of plants. And then the hanging ones, maybe put a mirror in that space or something, do something different. That's one thing, again, I'm going to point out, because you guys are guys, men don't pay attention to that very much because you guys get ready in your bathroom and you're done. But as women traveling, we're like, oh, I need a full-length mirror. And I want to have a lot of them, because if there's 13 people in that house and you have 1 mirror, when I get ready, I don't want to be fighting with 12 other people. So I put a lot of mirrors in my places, in my Airbnbs, and they're full length, really good mirror. When a woman is getting ready to go out or whatever, she wants to see that she's put together and she can see herself from every angle.
That's definitely a huge hack. I mean, after I think my 2nd or 3rd property, I realized like that's one of the big hack is have at least a full length mirror, or try and have it in every bedroom. But if the least you can do is put 1 by the front door, so that way when they're just about to get ready to the house, they can see themselves, see how they look, and that would be a huge value add for people that's coming, because even though we have the mirror in the bathroom, they can't see their whole outfit, and it just like how like and I know you people have done this, and if you haven't, I swear you're lying. Have you ever jumped in the bathroom?
Yes,
so you get a whole
100%.
picture of what you look like?
Yes.
If you say no, you're lying. And you okay?
Oh, I do it all the time, but it's only because the hosts don't understand I need a full-length mirror, right? So I jump on that bathtub. I almost kill myself with my high heels. And then you try to turn around to see your back and you're like stepping off. My heels are falling down. I'm like, I'm going to kill myself. That's a huge liability. Also, keep that in mind. If I fall down, I'm going to sue you. So you better try to prepare it in a way that I don't fall down.
I don't think I do that, but you know,
You're a
I
guy.
don't know, Hong. I don't think I do that.
You're a guy.
I've shamelessly admit that I have done it more times than I'd like to admit. But for those who have been to the same struggle, yeah, like the full length mirror thing, like even when like my designer's like, oh, like I don't think we can fit one in there. I'm like, I don't need what you need to do, but I want one in there because it's so huge in terms of like, and even in some of our properties, we only have a small space for a small mirror. Like not every single one of them have like a really big mirror that's in the bathroom either. It's like literally all you can see is like this part of you. And so if you can have like a one that's at least out in the living room or one that's out by the front door before they leave the house, that's huge. That people can eat. And so if they see that in the pictures, at least they know that, oh, like that's something that when they get there, it especially too for any of the moments where you might have, you know, messed up, right? Like either if your cleaners didn't do a great job or something during their reservation made it to where they didn't have as great of a stay as you would like them. These little things that you're doing for them, the full length mirrors, the extra coffee, the free tea, the, you know, early check-ins, the late checkouts, all these little things, if they're having a bad time, like when they come in, they're kind of in the middle. And then depending on how their experience is, it leans to the right? Like, oh, like that's so great that they thought of this. Oh, they have a designated a makeup towel so I can get rid of makeup. Oh, they have, you know, bubble baths that they include in there. But then when things like, you know, like let's say one situation we had was we had a dryer got delivered to our property or re-delivered because the dryer that they delivered didn't work. They came in and they took out all of the soggy towels that we had, and they put it on our newly made bed. And they didn't go and they didn't tell us that they did that, but then also they didn't put it back either. So when the guests came in, they saw like a whole pile of, you know, towels that's on their bed. And so depending on all of these things that you do, it leans on one side, but then when you do something bad, it starts to lean back. But every little things that you stack and you add value to their stay, it helps it to lean it just much more, and they can overcome whatever, you know, inconvenience that made their stay the way it was. So yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, 100%. That's definitely something that I'd like to say.
Yeah. And I think, like I always say over and over, that it's a product and a service. Airbnb is a product and a service. If you think it's just service, it's not. You can have great customer service and that's amazing, but people need great amenities and they want to feel comfortable in a space. And I've also seen it the other way around, where they put amazing product and they have the worst customer service and no great property manager, and people will still leave a bad review. So just like Hang said, like it's both. And I like to, and I think Hang has very similar style of hosting to me, is like we like to anticipate their needs before the need happens. I don't wait until you have a problem to address it. I think to myself, what problems can possibly happen? And I already have a solution for it. Like, you forgot a toothpaste? Okay, I have one for you. You know, you're going to probably go out and want to get dressed, or for a woman, a makeup mirror. I have to carry it with me everywhere I travel, and it's not convenient. So that's why I put them in my Airbnbs, because as a woman, you guys get dressed and that's it. We have to put makeup on. So we need a mirror.
We have makeup mirrors in every one of our property.
Exactly. Hey, you're turning into like a woman almost. Like, you know, women's need. Your girlfriend must be super happy.
Oh, she's very happy with me.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, all of that matters, guys. Like, every single amenity that you add has to be thought through, you know? And that's why we have this. So you guys can ask questions and we can share our expertise in this.
Absolutely, guys. If you have any questions, just put it in the comments. Let's move on to the next picture.
Okay, cool.
Let's see.
So yeah, in here I would do pretty much similar feedback. Rug, coffee table is missing, and then I like to have lamps also, because in the evening, like if you're just sitting there want to read a book, you
For
don't want
markets, I would probably say
Hung, mute yourself, bro.
Tennessee. We're looking to Florida, anywhere in Florida, obviously.
Hung, mute yourself.
Okay. Did he get it? Okay, he muted. Okay, perfect. So let's go back to this photo. Just coffee table, lamps, replace it with a large art piece, put little mirror or something or nothing on this wall. You can actually do curtains on both sides, and that will add more pop of color for you. The kitchen, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just very normal and kind of average, right? There's really nothing super duper
Yeah.
about it. If you're going full on to do rehab, like I would repaint the cabinet white because it's kind of dated. This brown color is not really very popular right now. So
Right.
just paint it white. It's not a huge expense. But if you can't, that's fine too. I would take away all the little things that are sitting here. So you have a plant, you have paper towel and like water filter or the whole filtering system. Maybe put that on the side and replace it with like a nice big white orchid in a round big pot. They sell them, and then my eye will go directly to the orchid instead of going to like trash can, coffee, the whatever coffee pot or whatever it's called. Like all these little things are too much. You also
Yeah.
have one chair sitting
Yeah,
here.
that I would love to get some new, probably something that looks more clean too. Like the lines are a little bit more clean, so that way like it's you can fit two of them instead of just the one. But one thing I would love to do to this kitchen is just repaint it, and then if possible, get new countertops as well. Like that would just change the whole game if we can get new countertops, which would just make it the whole place pop. And
I would say
That's what I'm thinking right now. We have an Airbnb that we just finished, and that one has. I do like the concept of the white cabinets, turn it into white cabinets, put new granite countertops, and then even the backsplash. So we had, and then like gold handles. That looks really nice on the one that we just finished in Clinton, Maryland. So I think that's something we'll have to do in this kitchen, because this kitchen is very basic. Like it doesn't even make me want to sit there and drink a coffee or something.
now, do you also have to consider that your competition doesn't have nice kitchens either? So it depends on how much money you want to spend. You probably are not going to get a much bigger return than your best competitor, maybe a little bit more, but there's a certain amount of money people will pay for that space in that city. So consider that when you do rehab, because if you're going all out, I would change the flooring, because the flooring makes it very dated. And like the flooring you have in the living room is much more fresh and like newer and more modern. So just carry that through the kitchen as well, and that will give you a big pop of like brightness and freshness. But if not, I would for sure like remove the picture, remove the trash can from the picture, put a huge orchid, paint it white, do the gold handles like you said, and boom, it's going to be a completely different space.
Boom.
Even with you leave the granite is expensive. So think about it, if you can get return for that investment, because maybe you can, but I'll show you a competition later and you'll see if it's worth it to you too.
I think it's real. I think it is worth it, because I did some analysis of the area, and it's and in this market, just like you said earlier, there's not a lot of competition in the area. Other listings are there is like one or two that's like, in terms of comp wise, it's in the same realm, but for how big the property is, if you really make it look really well, this thing can definitely demand on the higher end for sure. Just because I think of some of the bookings right now that we've already got, I know for sure if you upgraded some of the aesthetics, it can definitely boost the nightly rates by at least $100 to $200 on average.
Yeah.
Not even taking into consideration the summer months, which is like where the peak season is for this market is. But yeah, I and even sometimes too, I think now with a little bit more knowledge in terms of what kind of demand, like you can actually like force demand based on how you furnish a place. Because now I know that if I do a really good job at furnishing a certain property in this market, like for instance, we have a property in Orlando that On average, its nightly rates was supposed to be about $250 to maybe $300. Because of how much we've invested into the property, I think we spent like 35, maybe $40,000 on the property. It's a lot. I'm not even gonna say it wasn't. It's a lot, but we're getting like $500 to $600 a night at this property. And this is actually, it's funny. It's actually the property right here in the back. Like,
oh yeah,
you can't see it,
the
but
background.
this is the backyard. Like, literally, typically you wouldn't be able to demand that type of revenue from this type of property because there's like no pool or anything like that. But because of the way we've like really invested into the interior and the exterior of the property, it makes it really ideal for large groups. So like, for instance, this last couple of days, we had a party of literally 16 people in this maybe 2,000 square foot house. It's not massive, but because there's like a second story home as well, we literally packed the house up, and there was like maybe 6 cars there. It was insane. But because of the way we fit it and the way we've like structured the nightly rates and how we priced it, with all of the extra guests coming in, charging per night extra, I think we were charging like almost $700 a night for this property because of literally just maxing out the amount of people that could sleep there.
Yeah. And I love your feedback, but I also would say for somebody who's brand new, I don't know that they want to venture out and spend that much, because you're very experienced and you can analyze that and you can force that rate. But when somebody's starting out and they don't know, like, I would kind of compare who is the best competitor in my market and what are they charging, and like make myself a little bit better than them, but don't like rehab the whole house and spend $100,000.
Oh no,
and
yeah, no, for
out
sure,
like
for sure.
I can't get that money back. I think you know that for a fact, because you can analyze it back and forth and you know what you can push, right?
Yeah.
But I would say for somebody who's starting out and they have this Airbnb instead of Mamadou, I would say if you just take the feedback we're giving you and don't do any rehab, like hardcore rehab, you will still be able to push your rate. It's just the aesthetics have to change, and you don't necessarily have to change granite and all of that. But for you guys, like your experience, you can push it. I also wanted to give a shout out because a lot of my peeps are here. So hi Trish, hi Rory, hi Mary, hi Gabriella and Jody. So thank you guys for showing up for us. And then also wanted to say that I have so much more to say on this property, and I wanted to show the competition as well, and also talk about your copy that's in this. So if we have to finish soon today, like within the next few minutes or so, we're probably going to do second one on just this property, because I have so much more to say, and I really want people to understand the details, even like what you write under each picture is like, I actually had a lot of fun yesterday reading it. Like it was a little funny because like something that you don't even think about when I was reading it, I think the person that wrote description the English is probably their second language. So certain things they said were very suggestive, almost like a little sexual. And I'm like, this was just funny to read that. But I'm like, if you present yourself as like professional, you want to have professional description written for you if you don't know how to do it,
Right.
So
Yeah,
anyway.
I mean, here's the thing, guys. When you start, you gotta see where you at, like the level where you at. So we have people that watch that already have the money before they get started. Some people already have experience, and you gotta see where you at. But if you don't have the money, the reality is 2023 onward is not just the regular real estate market that is got hit. Airbnb also is kind of like slowing down, and the only people that are kind of like making money right now are the professionals that stand out. So I would say if you don't have the money, partner up with somebody that has the money. Like this deal right here, guys. I got into this deal. I didn't negotiate it. I didn't find a seller. None of that fun stuff, other than giving advice and going and bringing the money to the table. That's it. So partner up with somebody if you don't have the funds, or build relationships and raise the private funds. Because I promise you, it's worth the investment right from the get-go. So you don't have to do what I have to do right now. Now I have to go all the way back, block the calendar for maybe about 2 weeks, and completely redo this property. That's a lot of waste of time and money for me. which is perfectly fine. I learned from that mistake, right? Because now I have the experience. But guess what? When you first getting started, just squad up with people, guys. You don't have to do this all by yourself. So if you don't have the money, go find somebody who has the money, and then just partner up with them and share the piece of the pie. By the way, don't be the type to, I want 100% of nothing than 50% of something, because
Yeah.
that's the wrong mentality to go in with it. So Martha, we can a little bit show, I think. Let's do a part two of this property, but we can show the competition really quick and end with that one. Maybe we can show like 2-3 pictures on that, and then we can end with it.
Okay.
I see a lot of people came in here. Let me see.
Hi, Christine. My girl also.
Christine. Who's Gigi? Is it Gigi? Gigi?
DJ Martin.
Oh, yeah, I know DJ. DJ is a badass fix and flipper. I love him. Does a lot of innovations, guys. Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with us. And yeah, let's get into the competition.
Okay, so I need to stop sharing screen and go to the next one, but when you were talking about squatting up, like I think the best partnerships, even Mamadou and I talked about it this morning. He's like, don't ask me anything about design. I'm like, but that's why we work so well together, me and him, because we have opposite skills. When you partner up with people where you have opposite skill set, it works super well. Because if both me and him were designers, we would just fight about design all day long. But instead, like he sends me like a flyer and I'm like, that's not up to par. He's like, I don't care. You deal with it. I'm like, I want to deal with it. I love the design. So it's always so good to partner up with the opposite skill set. Just like I would never know what Mamadou does. I'm like, I have no idea what you're doing. Like you do your thing,
100%, guys. Don't step on each other's toes. And the reality is, it makes your life way easier to not have to know everything. Like I'm really good at acquisitions. I'm really good at going building these relationships, bringing the money, like all this design and I'm not like Hung. Hung is very different from like if I go into an Airbnb, guy. Not an Airbnb. Let me not say an Airbnb. But let's say in my house, if I have a couch and I can sleep on that couch and I can wake up, go do my work on the computer, shoot content, like I don't care about the frames. Don't ask me the colors. Just go buy, put it, whatever looks good for you. I don't care, right? It's not my thing. But some people, it is. But you don't want, if you're working with people, don't step in each other's toes. That's really important. I really love that.
Can you guys see this? The Buck Row Beach Beauty?
Bam! Yes, sir.
I think that's in Hampton, Virginia. That's not even in your town, is it?
How far from it is?
It showed up on the same Airbnb search.
If you go down to the map area, you should be able to see it.
Okay, this was the closest one to where you guys are that was charging a little bit higher rate, and they were decent as a design. Let's see. So I don't know the area. You guys
zoom out one more. Yeah, so this is like literally across town from where ours is. So it's like
you're here, Newport News.
Yeah, so this is like a totally different part of town than where we are. So this goes to show kind of like the closest competition that you have, it's literally across town from you. So if you can improve what you have right now that's in our part of the area, it would drastically change. Like there'd be no question in terms of like where people are staying when they're coming into like Newport News, right? Like if their budget was $100, they're willing to push it to $200 to stay at your place because they've been waiting for the whole year to come here and enjoy the stay that they've been planning. And so people will break their budget if the place is well worth it versus like if they have to stay in a place that wasn't as nice as they would like it to be, because they're literally going there to build memories. If it's not for work, if they're literally going there to build memories, to have moments with their family and friends, and the last thing that they want to do is stay in a house that wasn't very enjoyable or was very warming and welcoming.
Yeah,
totally. And I think this next time when we do the second part of this episode, I want to show the other competition so people can see, because I think you guys will be killing it when you upgrade this. You will be taking pretty much every customer that's coming in and wants a nice design will be staying with you, because there's absolutely nothing even close to nice in that area. The one that I am going to show you guys is across town, as Hung said, and it's still not like a killer, but it's much nicer. It's a newer unit that's pretty comparable to yours. and they're charging right now, let me check again, 800, I think, 780. So I put the exact same date. So I can kind of compare what you guys are charging from April 22nd to 29th. You're charging like 320. They're charging almost 800. Okay. So that's what you can have, except for they're brand new, but you can make yours look very similar. On the outside, yours is really cute and pretty as well. We will go back to yours because we can't really finish yet. There's so many different things we can talk about, but let's go through this real quick. So their kitchen is white. You can totally change yours and make it look like that. Easy, right? You already have silver appliances or stainless steel. Granite you don't have, but even if you don't change it, it's not going to be a deal breaker if you put nice furniture and like, chair and all that stuff. Their selling point is it's new. It's not designed super high end, but it's new and fresh and clean. And, there's not a million pictures. It's like, see, 2 large pictures instead of a bunch of little ones. Everything flows. I mean, I can critique theirs too all day long, but we don't have time for it. So
what's their what do you call it? Calendar looks like?
Let's see.
Because that's
really
what matters, right?
Yeah.
So they got something in April. Go to the left for March.
So they don't look booked. So they may be newer, but they have 31 reviews. So it's,
Right. So like if you go into the summer, check the summer really quick.
Like past summer, or if you can go
like
past,
if you just go to the right. Yeah. So once you go into the summer a little bit, then they can demand those type of like nightly rates. But right now, they can't because it's still in their kind of a winter time up there, and there's not a lot of demands in terms of like people going into that area, right? And so they really need to lower their prices, honestly, for March, April, and maybe in a little bit into May as well. They haven't done that, and so they're being punished for it. But honestly, their space looks amazing. Like there is, but as amazing as it is, if you take this house and you put it like in Scottsdale, like this thing would be eaten alive. Like there's no way to stay here.
Well, the decor has to be upgraded for Scottsdale. It's different where you guys are. I think it's more like family friendly and chill versus Scottsdale is like most modern, popping colors. There's so much competition that everybody has high-end designs here. This is like, it's nice. It's family friendly. But in Scottsdale, you would see more color. You would see more pop, accent walls, brighter. But it's very fresh and clean, this place. I really like it. But, I also say that some people, like I'm one of these people, that sometimes I will not reduce my rates drastically because I have high-end furniture and my rentals are luxury rentals. So I'm not willing to charge 300. I would rather not take anything than charge 300 because it changes my avatar of my guest. So now I have a bunch of bachelors or bachelorettes or somebody coming into my place, and that's fine if you have that is your customer, you design based on that. But on my design, like I'm not willing to take that risk. So sometimes just depends. Like I don't know, you can go either way.
There's a lot of like ways to kind of like go around that. The high-end avatar, it's really great when you can catch them, right? But the thing is and a lot of times some people have a hard time sometimes with accepting it because when you get down to the wire and for 4 bedrooms and up, that's within a 15-day range of like the day of book check-in to like 15 days out. You are kind of like down to the wire. So at that point, you really have to like deeply discount it to get another party to kind of come in and fill that space up. And I think there's a lot of like different philosophies as well. But just honestly, when you kind of have that, when you reduce the price down significantly in that small time frame or whatever the case may be, is the pricing strategy for those of you that's watching, is you really have to have a vetting system to see, okay, what is it? How do I vet these people that are coming in that aren't paying premium, that are coming in kind of last minute? How do you vet them to make sure that they aren't there to do things that aren't ideal for your property, right? And so you'll you make sure you have to have the right questions to ask, the right preliminaries to kind of run them through, and all of those things. We have a set of questions like, what are they in town for? After their confirmation, we'll ask them again to see, okay, like they say 4 people that's on the reservation, but we'll ask them again to verbally write out how many people are staying there. And it might change. It might go from 4 to like 7. And I was like, oh, like where these 7 people came out of, right? And so if that's the case, that's perfectly fine with us if there's more people. However, we have a thing where we charge people more when they come in.
Yeah.
So if there's ever a case where people start a party or anything like that, we have systems in place to monitor the noise situation in the house. And if that's the case, we have proof that they did start and quote unquote did a party, and we can charge them like $1,000 fine if that was the case. But if you don't have those systems in place, I can see why you wouldn't want to take on any person that's last minute but not at your regular rate.
Yeah, I think it all just goes back to like your knowledge of the market and what I would be willing to. Let's say I'm the owner of this property we're talking about, and he wants 700 for it. I would maybe reduce to 500, but I would never go lower than that, because that's what I'm saying is it will change my customer base possibly. So it's a preference. So
yeah, exactly.
Like to me, there's so much I'm willing to do. I rented my house once to somebody who, I don't know what they did, but they ruined all my rugs and all of that stuff. And I rented it during summer, where in Arizona, like you can barely get any money during summertime for a house like this size, right? So I'm like, okay, better something than nothing. Like, let's say I make $15,000 in February on this house, but I could only get 3,000. So I rented it for 3,000, and it costed me $3,000 worth of damage because she destroyed everything. But then at the same time, the way I structure it is that I always ask for deposit, or I, kind of set it up in a way that I can recoup that damage. It just takes a lot of time on my hand, which I don't have that much. So to me, it's not worth it sometimes to do that, but it just individual preference, and like you have to know your avatar and you have to know how much money you want to make and base decisions on that,
Yeah, guys. So the bottom line is, guys, in anything you do, you got to know your market regardless, because in order for you to first invest in that Airbnb, you need to know if the return is worth it in the first place. So you need to understand how, that market works, what type of guests you might be dealing with in that market. You see what they just did. They went and looked at little bit the competition, because that only helps you, not only helps you to know how you can renovate yours, right, Marta, but it also helps you to see maybe how can you outcompete your competition as well. What can you do different, right? So you have to know your market. You have to know the kind of nightly rates you can charge in that area based on what are these guests coming in that area for. That's the reason why it's so important to go into even your competition's listings and read the reviews to see what are these people coming in this area for. That will help you understand the market. So in anything you do, even when we wholesaling, guys, we have to understand the market. What are buyers buying in this market, right? So it's the same thing. So I think, Marta, what we need to do, let's have a part 2 for this specific one. We're gonna go deeper into the competition's listing, and then go into the captions and all that fun stuff, because people are not gonna go back and watch this 51-hour minute anyway. We're gonna have to break this down into, how people's attention spans are. So
yeah,
I think we can just leave them with some tips and tricks, good practices, and then call it a day for today and announce the next one. Guys, just so you know, we go live every single Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out when we go live, and we'll announce what the topic is. Just so you know, if you bring your own listings, if you bring your own listings, they'll actually go ahead and we'll audit it here live. That's number one. If you need an Airbnb underwritten as well, if you bring it on here, we'll underwrite it. If you bring a lead here, if you have if you have a lead, I don't care if they just want to do Airbnb arbitrage, meaning we lease it from them, turn it into Airbnb. We'd be more than happy to call your lead, guys. We will call your lead. If it doesn't matter if you're just talking to them about buying it creatively or cash, we'll actually call your lead as well. So if you need any help on those type of things, please show up every single Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And with that being said, guys, let's leave them with some wise words and some few tips and tricks, and then let's call it a day.
Yeah, so I wanted to address, I think, Kadir, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his name. He was asking where this property is located. So this is Newport News, Virginia. Is that correct, Mamadou?
Yes.
Yeah. So, what the wise words, I don't know if I have wise words, but I just wanted to kind of recap a little bit. There's so much to say and not enough time ever. So we're going to continue to do that because each week we're going to pick a different area. And if you have Airbnb in Newport Beach, California, you're going to have to spend different type of money, and it's a different customer than if you have Airbnb in Branson, Missouri or Kentucky, right? So each week we're going to do something a little bit different. And what I like to do is not only show what people are doing incorrectly, but also point out what somebody is doing correctly and how well they're doing their job. So we'll also, because you can learn from mistakes or you can learn from things that are done well, right? So we're going to point out both. And if you guys are scared that we're going to audit your listing and we're never going to make fun or anything like that, you can always let us know, like, how much feedback do you want? But this is free service, so take advantage of it. It costs a lot of money to get an audit like that. And if you hire a designer, then you're thousands of dollars in, which we can give you feedback that you can implement instantly. And we can even tell you where to shop for your furniture. And, at some point, I also want to talk about hospitality aspect of it and customer service, because that's what I'm most passionate about. So we'll have series on that as well.
We have series on that, guys. So we'll come up with multiple series. By the way, just so you know, if there's anything specific you want to hear about, any topic in this space, just put it in the comments and we'll literally make a whole live for it. So we'll have that topic as a live if it's a relevant topic to the what we're talking about here, just so you guys know. So it's gonna be a bunch of series, guys. This is like the 4th episode, so we're just getting started. We haven't even started. We're just warming up. Okay, there you go. Is it Gigi? JJ?
Gabriella.
Yeah. Oh, this is Gabriella. This is the one I said you guys
That's
look
my
alike.
twin sister. Yes.
There you go. Boom, Gabriella.
Gigi, you need to change your name.
Okay, Gabriella, if you have an Airbnb for us to underwrite, please bring it on. I don't know if you can wait till next Tuesday. If not, if you DM me, absolutely be happy to jump on a one-on-one Zoom with you. We can go over it as well, and then maybe we repost it later, whatever. So it depends if it's urgent. If it's not urgent, just bring it back next Tuesday, 2 p.m. EST. Okay, Mr. Hung, I know Mr. Hung always he's a preacher. So guys, he always has wise words. Let's do it.
Oh man, the expectations just get so much higher and higher every single week. I don't know if I can withstand the expectations. But lucky for you guys, I was born in a Vietnamese and Asian household. I can take the pressure. Okay.
Boom.
I'll tell you this. I mean, we talk about a lot of our wins all the time, and not so much about our losses. And I'll tell you, literally, one of my biggest losses within this past week, I would say, and it's been a very interesting start of my first week. Monday hit me hard, guys, and so I haven't posted about this reservation yet because. For one, I should have posted it much earlier on when I first had it. But now that this has happened, I felt like it was a duty of mine not to post about it because it's not true anymore. So just recently, this past weekend, we had a check-in for our largest booking ever, which is a 2-month reservation. It was a relocation agencies that we were able to secure, and it was for 2 months for $50,000.
Wow.
And this property, it's amazing property. Everything is really great about it. However, due to, and I put this on myself always because that's the only thing that I can control.
Right.
And that I didn't put enough time to maybe doing a preliminary check on the property just to make sure everything was okay before they checked in, because it is a huge reservation. And the problem was that this property was also managed by a partner because I told them that, for us to go in together and for us to, do what we're doing, they would have to take full charge of it. Which I'm okay with taking charge of my own thing. But however, because they're newer and I wanted to give them an opportunity, which they've been doing so well so far, it was just this one time that we messed up. However, it was just a very big messed up. We haven't had someone in the property for, I think, probably over a week, I would say. And so things were happening at the property that I was not aware of. And so when they checked in, they found a puddle of water on the kitchen island. And it was from a little bit of a leak from the vent that came down. It was really nothing major, but the response that came from the partner was, oh, we called the landlord, and this is not to say that it's not also my fault, right? I'm saying this for transparency.
Right.
They had went and said, yes, we already talked to the owner about it. This was also a problem 2 months prior. However, we told the owner about it, and they kept saying, oh, we'll get to it, and they never got to it. So anyways, the final thing that had happened was that the owner said they'll have someone out there on Tuesday. Now, this was a Saturday, I believe. And so that's a very long time for someone who paid $25,000 a month to stay at the property. If that was me, I would want someone there within the hour or at the latest the same day, right?
Right.
And so I wasn't aware of that. So what ended up happening, long story short, was they canceled.
Oh no!
They canceled, and
oh no!
and because of a series of events, Airbnb sided on the side of the guests with very insignificant amount of proof that it was a huge deal. Because once I heard of the problem, which is about 12 to 20 hours in, I would say, I told them, I don't care what you're doing right now. We need to stop everything that we're doing and get someone to the property right now. If we have to lift up the whole city of Dallas to find a person to take care of this roof, we need to do that, right? And so literally within the hour to 2 hours, we got someone there, and it wasn't a huge deal. They covered it, and everything was good, and it was all fixed. But by that time, it was already too late, and right now we're in a process to get it reversed with all of the proof that we have. Now, why did I tell you this story? It hurt like crazy when this happened, okay? It hurt like crazy when this happened. And one thing I could do is just mope and groan about it, which I did for like half a second. And then I start hitting up people that was, higher up than me, that knew more about this space than me, that has gone through this process more than me, potentially. And I hit them up for their knowledge and what they would do in this instance and whatnot. And the reason why I'm telling you guys this is that you're probably going through something similar, that you feel that it's overwhelming. And because it feels overwhelming, you want to avoid it. And what I implore you to do instead is, when you have that feeling to avoid a certain situation, find someone that you really trust, that have the knowledge base of what it is you're trying to do, and ask them for help, ask them for a favor. The biggest strength you have is to ask for help and ask for guidance from those that are close to you, or those that like and trust in this field, whether it's family side or whether it's the business side of what it is that we're doing here. And so don't ever try and figure out things on your own if you have the option to go and ask for guidance, right? And so again, this is a big $50,000 lesson that I learned, is that be prepared for everything. And if there is something that you are expecting that's coming, that's a huge deal, you should make sure that you have a checklist to make sure that it's all, well and done and taken care of. And with that, thank you. And I love you. And I will see you next week.
Awesome.
Damn, guys.
Boom.
If that's not a boom, like I have chills, guys. $50,000 he lost because now guys, this is the thing, like you have to be willing sometimes to be transparent and be super vulnerable. It took that for me to bring that listing. It took him for that so he didn't tell the story to blame anybody. The first thing he did, he took self-accountability. When things go wrong, stop trying to find, who's the other party that messed up. Try to see, what didn't you do that you could have done too. And I love that, Hung. This is why you're my brother, bro. I really love that. What man, this hurt me. $50,000 but guess what? You just earned a $150,000 lesson, though. Because next time that type of guest is coming, trust me, guys, Hung will literally fly over
Oh
to
yeah,
make sure, right? That's
And
a great
fix it
lesson to learn.
himself.
I'm telling you.
exactly.
I just learned that lesson, and I'm gonna bring my lesson on the second episode, guys. My lesson also costed me $65,000, which you already know about Hung. But we're gonna talk about that too. But guys, this is so good. Thank you. That was thank you. You see, I told you guys, Hung is always what do you think, man?
You just happen to hit me all at the right time every single week, apparently. You know,
I
so
love it. I
one of
love
these
it.
days I might drop the ball, but it's
I
not this.
love it.
No,
I
I love
love
it.
it.
No, these
So
lessons. That's why this is amazing, this podcast, because we can share. Like, we've all had really bad falls and some really big wins. And if we only talk about the positive, like, people get discouraged almost because it seems like, well, how come everything works out for them and I'm struggling? It's not like that. I think I have more bad days than good days in real estate because it's just like there's a lot of situations you've never encountered yet. And when they happen, like, how do you respond to it? Just like Hong said, like, surround yourself with people that can help you. And the community is the most important thing for me, because usually I used to deal with that stuff myself until I found this community. I had an issue and I had to eat it and I have to think about it and not sleep at night. And that was just me. Now I reach
mm,
out to my friends and they support me or give me advice. So that's why even us coming in here and sharing that, like, will help somebody in the future not make that mistake. And that's why the community is so important.
Yeah, yeah, and
100%.
honestly too, like I had a serious talk with that partner, and now we're like, I had a serious partner or a serious talk, or we're trying to get a conversation going with the landlord as well, because he's one of the person that also effed up in this situation, and we told him
Mm,
like, hey, how would you feel if someone didn't pay rent for 5 to 6 months? Because that's how I feel right now, and he's like, literally, he's trying to make it up to us. And we're trying to renegotiate our rent.
mm,
As of right now, we're paying about, I think, around $9,000 to break even with utilities and rent and everything in between. He's offered us to get it down to like $3,500 a month, right,
Wow.
for the next couple of
yeah.
months, because he knew he effed up.
Messed up. Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Love that, bro. I
Right.
love that.
And
Love
so in this situation, you have to see, okay, like, what's all the parties that's been involved? And let's have a conversation with all of them and see what can we do to at least alleviate some of the pain and take some, quote unquote, Adderall or some Tylenol to help alleviate some of this stress, right? Because there's a lot of things going on right now. But, one step at a time, anyone can overcome it.
For sure.
Boom, guys, there you have it. There you have it, guys. Again, make sure you don't miss out. Please hit the notification bell, leave a comment. Make sure you show up next Tuesday, and we're going to announce the next episode. Guys, every single week, Tuesday, 2 p.m. EST, we go live and we have a different topic, all things Airbnbs on Airbnb Jams. And look at these two beautiful people. Keep dropping bombs over bombs over. I'm gonna figure out how we can have literally like bombs flying when you guys start going in like that. So Gabriella, connect with me for that underwriting if you want to wait till next Tuesday, or if you want to do it earlier, not a problem. Anytime, be happy to help. And yeah, guys, so again, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Boom,
Thanks,
boom,
guys.
boom. We're
Thanks
out,
for all
guys.
the love and support. Thank you.
Hey, guys.